All right, so hopefully this orientation won't take too terribly long. We'll get you in and out of here. It's kind of a jury night. I am Stormy Kretschmar. Welcome to campus, those of you who are new. So there are 7 of you joining us for the spring. There were going to be 12, but a bunch of students had to defer to a later term, so they'll be joining us later. But anyway, we'll get started. All right, so before we begin, this orientation is a guide. We won't answer all your questions. It'll feel like information overload with yourself and with all of us, as we're all kind of, we've been here for a while, so sometimes we talk in shorthand. If there's any questions that you have, definitely always be sure to ask questions, because most students get into issues when they don't ask questions, or they just think they know the answer and they don't confirm it. All right, so write down your questions and ask them at the end. Okay, so we're going to talk about Howdy, OGAPs, ISS, degree plans, some departmental information, and some helpful tips. All right, so who's who? So that's me on the left. I am your graduate program academic advisor. You still have your major professor, who's your committee chair, the faculty advisor you've been working with. So we kind of work together to get you through your program. And then you have Dr. Fernando. He is basically the head of the graduate program, so he and I work together. Then you have Dr. Steven Searcy. He's the department head. He is probably only going to be with us for a few more months. He's planning on retiring, so we'll have a new department head coming in. But for now, he is our man. And then Ms. Cheryl Yeager, she is the business office manager. So if you have any questions about employment, any questions about the pay rate, or if you have to buy something for your lab, so you need a credit card or something for that, you head to her office. So we have several degrees. You should know which one you're pursuing. We have the Master's of Science, which is 30 hours. We have the Master's of Engineering, which is also 30 hours. You have the PhD. There's 2 options on that one. There's the 96 and the 64. So if you're pursuing the PhD, you already have a Master's, you're on the 64-hour option. If you do not have a Master's, you're on the 96-hour option. And then there's the Doctorate of Engineering, which none of you guys are on that one. That's administered through the College of Engineering. It's very rare for a student to be in that one. Several focus areas, which you guys have already probably narrowed down, but here are the other options that are out there for you if you, end up like, I don't really like this, I want to shift. Food engineering, environmental, bioprocessing, biomaterials, machines, system analysis, and of course our food, feed, and fiber. All right. This is our AGSM side. These are the non-engineering degrees. They're sort of more business track. We have the Masters of Science, thesis and non-thesis, and then we have the Masters of Agriculture and AGSM, which no one really joins right now. It's a closed program right now. And then we have 2 distance degrees. So we have the Masters of Science AGSM distance degree, and then we have the Master of Engineering BAEN distance degree. I show you these so that you have an idea of what options are out there for you, so that if in the event you get through your program and you're like, man, this is just not what I want to do, I want to maybe look at like a different degree option, there are other options that are out there for you in the department. And that's a conversation between you, me, and your major professor. All right. Oh, they got rid of my handy metrics, so I don't know why the little thingies aren't on there. So these are, this one is male, female. So that's female, that's male. And then this is that's master's level, PhD level. So that kind of gives you a breakdown of the student demographics. We're about, I think it was like 27% female, and then, the remainder male, and then 30% masters with 70% PhD. And then that is the ethnicities and how we're broken down. But this does not include the entering class for spring 2020. All right, so let's talk about Howdy. Hopefully a lot of you have already had exposure to this because you've already registered, you even paid your student bill, but it has a lot of good information. I know it's really teeny tiny, but I wanted to give you guys a full view of it. This is my Howdy view, so it has a lot of stuff that you may not have. But up at the top, you probably have a My Record tab, which is this one. You have a My Finances tab. You probably have an Employee tab, maybe a Research tab. So on My Record, this is where you register. This is where you can look at your schedule. That's kind of over here. You can look at graduation information over there. You can look at, up here is lab safety acknowledgement. So if you have a course that has a lab, you have to accept the lab safety acknowledgement. I tell students just to get into the habit of going in there every semester and just accepting it every term, because if you don't, then you can't register. It'll throw a big flag. You can also pull your grades and order transcripts in here. And then if you want to learn about the My Record tab or like want training, like how do I do this? How do I find that? There's a little in the bottom right hand corner, there's a My Record tab, how to. All right, so this is the My Finances tab. Billing tuition fees up there. Refunds, if you haven't yet, be sure to set up your refund information with Student Business Services. That basically means like if your student A overpaid or you overpay, or if something ends up being cheaper than they thought it was going to be, they'll refund you and they refund you to a bank account. So be sure to do that. And then you also have a financial aid portal and a scholarships portal. And then the Money Education Center, that's really cool. I don't know how long they've been around, but they've really been pushing it for the last several years. It has actually some really cool programming where you can learn about budgeting and finances and what's a 401k and how do you save for retirement, how do you buy a house, how do you, the stock market, how do you do kind of cool things. So yeah, it's open to anyone. All right, let's talk about OGAPS. So we'll just go through it one by one. All right, so the OGAPS portal is this website, ogaps.tnu.edu. It has a lot of great information for you. You're going to spend a lot of time on this website. So you have new and current students. You have information for faculty and staff, which you guys will actually go to one part of this to search for things. They have calendars and deadlines down here at the very bottom. So you can sign up for like a subscription and it'll just populate to your Outlook calendar or Gmail or whatever, wherever you send it. I normally just download them. So like for each term, say like fall, I just download the PDF and I print it out and I always keep it. You have lots of deadlines that you have to make sure that you meet. So they're the keepers of that calendar. It'll be deadlines for like when you have to do a degree plan, when you have to defend, when you have to submit a proposal, when you have to do a prelim, when you have to, I don't know, there's tons of things. So it's really helpful if you have the calendar. There's forms and information. So you have a ton of forms that you have to use every single day for anything. You have to submit a form for your thesis, for your dissertation. If you want, when you defend, you have to submit documentation for, what else? Your prelim. But the cool thing is it's quite a long list that just goes on and on and on. But at the very top, you can search, and let's say you just did thesis, like you wanted to know the forms that you needed to like submit a thesis. So there's approval of written thesis form, copyright and availability form, research proposal form, thesis and dissertation manual. So they added that, and that was really helpful. So the search bar, anyway, that's forms. Okay, resources for degree completion. You can come here and it will walk you through steps to fill a master's degree, steps to fill a doctoral degree, and these are general university requirements. So you can just click on them, and then they'll just kind of tell you like, hey, what do I have to do? When do I need to do it? Who is it approved by? And so that's kind of a good 1, 2, 3 step. There's other information here like international student information, English language proficiency information, how to submit a degree plan. So all students who are pursuing a graduate degree have to submit a degree plan in the DPSS system. And that basically declares who your committee is and then what your courses are going to be. And so they have a link to that so you can have it. Yeah. And then funding opportunities. This is something that every student is always interested in. They just kind of list some of them kind of generally, kind of vaguely. You can also find funding information on our website. And then you can go to like these different places. So like the scholarships and financial aid office, you could go there. Yeah. OGAPS does a lot of fellowships through their office. So they'll send the call out for that. And then the catalog. If you're ever looking for a course or information about what might be offered at A&M, you can always go to the catalog and it will tell you pretty much everything you need to know. I tell students, not to use this thing over here on the right-hand side that will just take you down a rabbit hole and it will get really confusing. What I try and get students to do is just use the search bar. So let's say you want to search for a math course and you want to search for like Math 601. You can find it. So like there's Math 601 and it kind of tells you some information about it. It tells you that it's part of the mathematics department. And it kind of just pulls up other random stuff related to math. But use the search bar. It helps. Faculty and staff. So if you go here, eventually you're going to have to choose a committee. And so you can go here to the graduate committee faculty. You go to the very bottom and you want to do a search. And so it's going really slow. But for masters, you have to have 3 committee members. For PhD, you have to have 4. And so your main professor is obviously the chair. But then you need to search for other people. So let's say I want to search for, I don't know, you could always try and find someone in like, I want to find someone in the biology department because I'm doing something related to bioprocessing or bioseparations or something. So you can search, it'll pull people up. If it goes really fast, okay, there you go. And then it will pull you up a list of who's on the graduate faculty. So, yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So the people that can be on your committee, any of these people, whether they're like a senior lecturer or a research associate professor, they can all serve on a committee. I don't know if it was like just full professors or just assistant or I don't know.
Yeah. So yes and no. I'm not sure how they have this. Okay. So if you click, this is how they have it organized. Okay. So let's do it by, let's actually look up someone in our department because I know what it's going to say. Oh, this is relaxing. All right, so you want to look up a professor. This tells you what unit they're affiliated with. So BAEN is us, and she's also affiliated with nutrition and food science. So that means that she can be a chair in those 2 departments. She can't be a chair anywhere else. She can't be a chair in mechanical. She can't be a chair in biology or genetics or wherever. It's only those 2. Then if you click on that view, you can see like for what degree. So let's say you're pursuing the MS BAEN degree. She can be a chair, a co-chair, or a member. So it'll tell you. Some people in here have, depending on their classification, they may only be able to be a member. They may only be able to be like member or co-chair. So it goes up in grades. So it's member, co-chair, chair. And that depends on sort of like their ranking and their position at A&M and how they've been categorized and things like that. So yes, it can differ, but look someone up, click on that little view, and it'll tell you what they can do. Yeah, that makes sense? Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, let's step back. That's OGAPS. That's pretty much a crash course. All right, so. Here's some other links that happen that are on OGAPS. So we already went to the forms, went to the calendar, research for recompletion funding, catalog. Yeah, we're good there. All right, this is DPSS. This is where you actually submit your committee. So everyone has a deadline for when they need to do that. Masters, you pretty much have 1 semester, and then that next semester you need to get it done pretty early. You'll be held for registration. You won't be able to register. PhD, you're given 2 semesters, so in that 3rd semester you need to do it, I believe. It's in the catalog, the actual specifics, or not in the catalog, it's in the handbook on when you need to submit. So just be sure to watch that, and I get a list every semester, so if you're bumping up against that, I send an email out to people and be like, hey, you're gonna be on this list of students who are gonna be held because you don't have a degree plan submitted, you need to get that done. So I would say the earlier you start working on it, the better off you're going to be. You don't want to be on the list and be held for registration, etc. But you're going to process it in the DPSS system. You're going to click on the student login, and from there, you're in the portal and you just click on, it sort of comes up, it's like degree plan, I think is up here, and then I think petition is down here. So you click on degree plan and you just follow the prompts. It's like, who are you? What's your major? What degree are you pursuing? All right, who's your committee members? All right, what are your courses that you're gonna take? All right, let's audit it. Let's make sure there's no errors. Cool, it looks good, let's submit it. So you're just gonna walk through the prompts. You also use this system to change your major. You could like change from PhD to MS, MS to PhD, bio-9 engineering to chemical engineering, or vice versa. You use this to edit your degree plan. So if you say you're gonna take Math 601, you end up taking Math 611, well, you need to change that. You need to update that. So you have to go in here and do an edit. If you change a committee member or add a committee member, drop a committee member, you have to do it in here. There are other things that you can do in here, extensions. So students are given a certain amount of time to finish their degree. Master's students are given 7 years. PhD students are given 10. It doesn't seem like you may hit that, but sometimes students do go over that. So you have to ask for an extension. You do it in here. There are various waivers that students may have to ask for. You do it in here, but yeah, you'll spend a lot of time in this portal. All right. Okay, so it's used to submit a degree plan, subcommittee members, edit, yep, cool. All right, ISS, this is for my international students. They're your friend. I know it may not seem like it, but they are. Never risk it if you're an international student. If you're ever like, I wonder if I should tell them, you should probably tell them. Why you would need to talk to ISS is if you're changing your major, you're changing your level. So you're going from master's to PhD, PhD to master's. You are traveling, so you got to get like a travel stamp. If you have visa questions, visa issues, your I-20 is expiring, you're working in the United States, and that could be you're on an internship, or you're finding full-time employment, or you're on, like a co-op position. You have to let ISS know. So yeah, I know about this much, so I can kind of guide you a little bit, but they're really the experts, and I'll answer what I can, and I'll probably send you off to ISS. All right, so the department. Okay, so if you haven't had a chance, please do visit the website. It has a lot of good information. This is that link to that Helpful Hints YouTube series. It also has a link to the handbook, which I actually just updated it, so be sure to check it out. Graduate funding, graduate scholarships are in here. Distance learning information, and then I also have other links to other things like graduate professional studies, thesis and dissertation services, Office of the Registrar, the catalog, the calendar. Just, spend some time on the website. And then you can also follow us from there. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also obviously YouTube. All right, so let's get into the actual degrees. Do we have any MSBA and thesis option students? Because I will skip it. Okay, cool. All right, so this is what your degree plan looks like. Hopefully you're relatively familiar with it, but a lot of students kind of come in and like, I don't know. But you have 681, that's seminar. Every student in our department takes BAEN 681. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what degree you're pursuing, you will take seminar. All thesis-based students take BAEN 690 and BAEN 683. Theory of research and peer review. Theory of research can be taken early in your program. Peer review needs to be taken after you already have writing completed. Because if not, then you just have to write about a topic, and then you later, the next semester, you have to still write your thesis, because there has to be something for your peers to review. So I tell students, don't take it too early, because then you're just doing double work. So on this program, you have, that should actually be 6 hours of research, because students who are beginning after fall 2019 are on a 30-hour program. So you will have 6 hours of research for a total of 30 hours. So just remember that. And the DPSS system, where like you submit your degree plan, will alert you to this. BAEN electives, you have 2, and you can choose those from any BAEN course that we have here at the graduate level. They need to be at the graduate level. You have a math elective, a stat elective, Stat is any statistics, any graduate level statistics class. Math, there is a list in the handbook that you can choose from, but you can always petition us to take a different one if you want to take, if you have a different one in mind. And then you have free electives. So you have 7 to 9 credits of free electives, and that's because some of these math and stat courses are a little more. It's a little more 4 hours, etc. So that is the MSBA thesis option.
Can I take a picture?
Yeah, of course. And remember, you'll be on the 30-hour. This I just pulled from a handbook. Because we have sort of students in 2 different areas right now. Cool to move on from that one? All right, we don't have any AGSM students in here, right? No? Okay. And I don't believe we have any Masters of Engineering. Any internship-based students? Okay. Do we have 96-hour PhD students? We all have PhDs, or we all have Masters? Okay, so I believe we have some PhDs, right? Okay, so this is the PhD BAEN 64 credit option, students with a master's degree. So you will take 681 seminar, and that's only offered in the fall, FYI. So be sure that you get on the right cycle and don't skip taking it. So I would definitely say just take it next fall for everyone. Just take it. 690, theory of research. 683, peer review. Again, same rules, take peer review later. 691, research, you'll have 40 hours, and that's a maximum. And then you have 2 BAEN electives. Again, a math elective, a stat elective, same rules apply. And then you have free electives 7 to 9. So for a total of 64 hours. And if you're on the 96-hour track, you just have more research. That's literally the only thing. Everything else is the same, just more research. Any pictures? Yeah, go ahead. And don't forget, this is in the, Whoa. All right. Those are distance students. All right, did everyone see their degree plan? No one missed any? Okay. All right, so office space. This is the one where everyone gets really excited. All students are assigned a graduate student desk space in the department somewhere. Hopefully you're in Stokes. If not, you might be in Hobgood, which is on West Campus, which is we have sort of 2 locations that we exist in this department. It's Hobgood and P&M, which is on West Campus, and then you have here at Stokes. The paper that I gave you should have your desk assignment. Again, Chicaudry, don't have yours yet. You're probably gonna be on West Campus over in Hobgood. I'm just waiting on a desk to come open. But depending on where Dr. Moore wants you, you may be here. I don't know, we'll have to see. You will need a key to access your desk space. Scopes is on a key card. So your student ID is how you swipe in and out of the building after hours. I will give you access to that tomorrow. So today you don't have access, tomorrow you roll in the system. May take 24 hours, I'm not really sure. So, but by the end of the week you'll have access. Well, you'll need a key, physical key for your door. You get those from Susie in the main office. Refer to your handout. It will tell you how much money you need to bring, and it's exact. So you can't bring like, you can't bring a $20 bill and your deposit is $5 because you have to give her money for the keys. She doesn't have change, so bring exact money. And typically we just do the $5 even if you're getting the keys. Except I think Hobgood and P&M are more expensive. I think it costs more for us to get those keys. Do not change desks without asking me. Do not swap keys without asking me. We have to keep record of where everyone is located. Like that's a requirement for us. And so if you do that, it just causes a lot of problems. So please just don't swap, don't change. And then yeah, Scopes is protected by key card. So if you don't have your ID yet, be sure to get one. All right, so there are some perks for the department. There is a coffee club. You have to join it, but it's Starbucks coffee here in the break room that you guys can use. And there's a printer room. It's 203, I think it's C. I can't remember. It's like right below us over there. You can ask your major professor for the code if you need to do a lot of copying. A lot of students will have to copy if they're a teaching assistant, like they'll have to print out tests or make quizzes, exams, stuff like that. So they'll need a code. There are 2 computer labs. They are on the 2nd floor over there. So Scopes is kind of a weird building. There's 2 wings and they're only connected at the top and the bottom. The 2nd floor does not connect. So to get across, you either have to go up and over, or you have to go down and over. It's confusing, I know. But the computer labs are over there. There's a mail room right next to the copy room, the printer room. Again, second floor over here. And then there's also a graduate lounge. Pretty sure that's on the second floor. It's in your little handbook. I think it's 230. Anyway, but yeah, that's free for you guys to use. There's a microwave. No, there's not a microwave. They took the microwave away because it was disgusting. It never got cleaned. But there is a fridge, and there is a couch and a table. Sometimes you guys will have like parties in there for the Graduate Student Association. Hang
Is
out.
there a microwave at all in the building?
There's a microwave in this break room right here. Yeah. And a lot of students will use that one. A lot of graduate students. We try and keep undergrads out of there, but graduate students pretty much can come here and use it. All right, so probation, the thing that no one really wants to talk about, but we have to. So we used to do a thing where some students would enter on probation, but that is gone by the wayside. But basically what it is that all students who are here at Texas A&M through the course of their graduate program have to maintain a 3.0. That is a requirement of the university. And they have to maintain a 3.0 on their degree plan and then also on their transcript. So try and keep in mind that you live in two worlds. You have degree plan world, which is all the classes that you're like, hey, this is what I'm going to take, like that list that we looked at. But a lot of students end up taking other courses while they're here just because they're interested in it, or they need to be full-time for some reason, so they took this class, etc. So you have two worlds. Both of them have to be a 3.0. If not, then you find yourself on probation. I was going to say that I care more about the cumulative, like the transcript plan, but I care about degree plan land too. If you do not maintain a 3.0 on one of those, you can end up on probation. And basically probation says that, hey, you had a really bad semester, so you need to just watch it. You could have semester probation, which is like your GPA, your overall GPA is a 3.5, but your semester was like a 2.3. You just, I don't know, something happened and it just didn't work out. That I typically don't put students on probation for because it's not cumulative. But I do send a warning and I say, hey, let's not do that again because you can't do too many of those and then you'll be below a 3.0. What I'm looking for is that cumulative. So if that cumulative comes down below a 3, then you'll officially end up on probation. Depending on how low you are, some students may be like 2.9, right? Won't take them long to get back to 3.0. So I'll calculate it and I'll say, if you get, an A and a B and, another A, you can get to 3.0. So that's what you need to do. Get to 3.0 next semester. Some students are so low, like just bond and they're like 1.9, 2.2. It's going to take them a sequence to get back to 3.0. We'll work with you. And we'll say, hey, you have until this time to get back to a 3.0. If you fail to meet that deadline, you can be dismissed from the department. And we have dismissed students from the department because of it. We have dismissed a lot of students from the department because of it, but it is an option that's out there. There's also research probation. So I care about academic, which is like your GPA, your degree plan, stuff like that. Your professor and your committee care about your research, right? So if there's some issues going on there and they don't feel like you're progressing, they could put you on probation for your research. That's a little bit less formal, but it is something that can happen. And then we kind of come up with a plan like, okay, you have until this long to get back on track. Usually the department head gets involved in that. We usually give you a while, but then, if you miss it, we'll be like, we'll give you another grace period. And if you're consistently missing those marks, then you can be dismissed. And we have dismissed students for that. Leveling, those of you who are on leveling, know you're on leveling. I don't think we have anyone in this room who's doing leveling. Basically, that means you didn't come in with an engineering degree. You have a non-engineering degree and you're pursuing an engineering program. It basically means you have to take this set engineering courses, this block of them to get the information that you need to know. So, but I don't think there's anyone in here who is on leveling. Okay, so since that link didn't work on the YouTube helpful hints, I'll just have to talk about this. Okay, so Title 9. See, I wonder if I can go for those. Title 9 is something that Texas A&M takes very seriously. And basically, Title 9 is a federal law, the Education Amendment of 1972. And it basically prohibits discrimination based on sex and educational programs and activities at federally funded institutions. We are a federally funded institution, meaning we get money from the federal government, the United States government. So it protects students, faculty, staff, and visitors to our campus from all forms of sexual discrimination. That's sexual harassment, sexual violence, discrimination. A lot of people think that Title IX is involved with athletes, but it's actually much, much more than that. It pretty much covers any kind of sexual discrimination, violence, harassment that can happen on a campus. So this is something that, again, AN takes very seriously, and we want to make sure that everyone is protected. This is the Title IX officer here at Texas A&M. If you have a complaint or you've seen something or something has happened to you, please report it to the office. We definitely want to make sure that if something has happened to you, we want to make sure you're taken care of. We want to make sure you're getting the resources you need. And if you have seen something, you may be required to report it, or if you hear about something. So up here at the top, there's make a report. So employees, which is me, if I see or hear or know about something, I am a mandatory reporter. By the state of Texas, I have to, well, the federal government, I have to report it. If I do not report it, I can be fired. So just so that you know, I want to make very clear, if you tell me anything, I am a mandatory reporter. So I have to report. Now, you can also make a report, even if you're not a mandatory reporter, like if you're just a student and you see something on campus, you can report it as well. You can also make an anonymous report. But again, if you fall into that mandatory reporter status, you cannot make an anonymous report. I'm not allowed to make an anonymous report if I see or hear or know of something. I have to make a report with my name, my information, my contact info, etc. So if you're unsure about if you're a reporter, there's a few key takeaways. One, if you are an employee of Texas A&M and you are getting a paycheck from Texas A&M, you are a mandatory reporter. Now, that gets a little gray with student employees. So the rule is that if you are wearing your student employee hat and you are on the clock and you know of something, if you hear something, if you're a teaching assistant and someone comes up to you and says, hey, it's after class, this happened to me, you then become a mandatory reporter. I know that's a lot of weight to put on your shoulders. So I would say if you're comfortable, you can contact Title IX office, feel free. Or you can bring that to your supervisor and take it up the chain and be like, hey, X, Y, Z happened, and I would like some input on what you think, well, not what you think I should do, but just I want to let you know about what happened. Now, that person's probably a faculty or staff member. They're going to be required to report. What I want to make very clear to you is that you still need to report as well. Just make sure, basically just make sure that you're reporting things if you hear about it while you're wearing your employee hat. You can always come to me, feel free, but just know that if you come to me, I am a mandatory reporter, and then I will ask you, I'll be like, okay, well, when did this happen? When were you told? All right, you were wearing your hat. You need to go ahead and you need to report it as well. I need to report it as well. So they get 2 reports. I know it's kind of heavy, but this is something that's become a pretty big thing here on campus. So yeah, we don't want to miss anything. Anyone have any questions about that? Okay. You can always go back and I will send you this presentation. You can always go back and you can actually watch the video on what Title IX is. It explains it a little bit better. All right, helpful tips. So when you call me, or well, when you email me, please tell me your name. Please tell me, preferably I would love to have your UIN, because sometimes students use nicknames. Sometimes they use their middle name as their last name. And so if you just have your name, that'd be really great, and your UIN. Because if your UIN, I can find you lickety split. Please allow me 24 hours. I do 3 different things here in the department. I am the graduate academic advisor. I am also in charge of all the marketing communications. So all the social media, all the flyers, the website building, I do it all. And then I also do recruiting events, and I do those for both undergrad and grad. And then I also do something called high impact, which is basically managing all the extracurricular activities that happen in the department. So any kind of student undergraduate research that happens, study abroad, student clubs, I help manage those. So I do a lot, and I'm not necessarily always at my desk. Please tell me why you are emailing. I can't tell you how many times a student has emailed and just given me one sentence, and I'm like, I don't know what you want. I always put this one in here because a lot of students don't realize that their net ID is their email. And so if you've chosen like a really weird net ID, or like one of my students chose like Wolverine 1999, and so that became his email. So when he was applying to jobs, it was like Wolverine. So you can change that. You can't change your net ID, but you can at least change your email. So if you have selected a less professional email, maybe consider changing it. And then don't send me an email if you really just need to come in and talk to me. And then also, if you call me on my phone, it's awesome if I answer. Super awesome. You have won the lottery. However, because I'm not at my desk all the time, it could take me 2 to 3 days to actually get to that voicemail, just because I'm trying to answer email, students are coming in, and I'm doing 100 million things. So if you can not leave me a voicemail, that's ideal. As some of you may have already experienced. All right, so general tips. There is a week right now that we're in. It's called free add drop. And basically what that means is that you have the option to manipulate your schedule however you want. You can add, you can drop without penalty. You can add a whole bunch, you can drop a whole bunch. However, at 5 p.m. on Friday, that's shut down, you're locked in, that's your schedule. If you then need to drop at that point, that's what we call queue dropping. And queue dropping basically means that you still have to pay for the course. And yeah, so I mean, it's kind of a penalty. So I would avoid that. And queue drop, there is a deadline for queue drops. So at some point you're totally locked in. And that happens about 2 to 3 months into the semester. And so after that queue drop deadline, and I'll send emails out about this, that means that, sorry, that's it, you're done. You're in the semester. If at some point during the semester things just become too overwhelming, there's always the option of withdrawing. That is something that you can look at, but that's pretty intense and it will withdraw you from the term. So if you get into a situation where things are just, you're underwater, come talk to me, we'll figure something out. So dropping classes for students who have to maintain full-time enrollment can be tricky. So as an international student, you're required to maintain full-time enrollment. If you take, let's say, Math 601, then come March, you're like, whoa, I can't do this. I'm gonna get an F. I'm gonna ruin my GPA. I want out. Okay, if you're an international student, you Q drop that course. Well, now you're below 6, let's say you're below 9 hours. Let's say you're at 6. That course was 6 hours. Well, then you have to add back research hours. That's the only thing I can put you in is research. So you have to add back 3 hours research. That means you have to pay for those 3 hours of research plus the math course you dropped. So you end up paying for 12 hours of classes instead of 9. So just be very careful. Now, I wouldn't say like, if you truly need to drop something, drop it, but definitely have a discussion maybe with your professor, be like, is there any extra work I can do? Is there any tutoring? Can I take an incomplete and finish some of the things that I've missed, next semester? Try and work a way to not drop if you can, just if you find yourself in that situation, because it can get really tricky. After you do any manipulation in your schedule, please always go back and check it in Howdy and check your schedule and make sure those changes stuck. I can't tell you how many times a student says, oh, well, I thought I did, but they didn't save it. And then come May, they realize that they were never in the course that they had been attending every single day because they thought they had added it, but they didn't. So just be careful. And then you get to a situation where it's like, nah, sorry, you don't get it. Always discuss your course selections with your major professor. They're really the ones who are going to guide you on what it is that they kind of see you taking, and then establish your degree plan and your committee early. All right, these are some other helpful websites. ISS is right there at the top, so if you're an international student, here's ISS. They have calendars, they have Teradata, they have important dates, sponsored students, current students, they have a lot of information about statuses on your visa, health insurance information, how to get a social security number, how to get a driver's license, tax information, because even though you're not a US citizen, if you're working in the United States, you still have to pay taxes. So yeah, they have a lot of good stuff. Sponsored students. Oh, that link is broken. Student counseling services. So if you find yourself in a time where you're like, man, I really need to talk to someone, student counseling services is there. It's free. And they have this really cool app that's called Sambello. It's like a meditation app. I actually use it. It's really cool. You can like track your mood. You can do meditation in it. You can just listen to music in it, like waves or trees or whatever. But if you ever find yourself, struggling, the student counseling services is there. They have a brand new building. So yeah, look at that. Career Center. So once you are ready to leave us and you're headed for employment, the Career Center is there for you. They can talk about jobs, internships, co-op opportunities, how to build a resume, how to dress professionally, all kinds of stuff. And there are lots of career fairs here on campus that happen all the time. And I'll send out emails about that. Aggie Map, if you haven't yet had a chance, oh Lord, oh sweet. If you haven't had a chance to use the Aggie Map, it's pretty cool, it's interactive. You can just type in what you're looking for and it'll pop right up. There you go, there's so tall. This is the engineering quad. This is the core. Of course, here's Kyle Field down at the bottom. This, oh my gosh, I'll turn myself around. Here's Hobgood. These are our other buildings, Hobgood and AEPM. You can see that they're pretty far away from us, right? This is what's considered West Campus. This is all West Campus over here. This is mainly where Ag is located. Mainly over here. This is Ag over here. They have a lot of new buildings. But yeah, so that's campus. And the campus also extends out here on agronomy. The GSC is the General Services Complex. That's where the registrar's office is, the Office of Admissions, student billing. So yeah, and there's a bus that runs out there, so you don't have to walk. Transportation. If you want to talk about parking on campus, if you want to, like football parking can be pretty crazy in the fall. So they will like shut down lots, so you don't want to be stuck on a lot and then get a ticket because you're not supposed to be in that lot after 5. They also have information about like bus routes, bike information. We also have those like the Vio Ride bikes, so they have information about that. Student life. Oh, go back and check that one thing. This presentation is like 3 months old, so they've changed their websites pretty quickly. Here's the distance website. So if you're interested in the departmental distance program, that's that. Mainly the distance program is food related, but any student can do a distance program in our department. You don't have to be food, but it's mostly. All right, Facebook, Instagram, definitely follow us. I encourage you to. We also have a WhatsApp group, so if you want to get added to the graduate student WhatsApp, just send me an email and I'll forward it with your name and then your phone number. I'll forward it on to the Graduate Student Association president and they'll get you added. And then also we have a Twitter. And this is pretty much our handle for everything at TAMU BAEN. In fact, that's our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter, and also our YouTube. What else? There's the Graduate Student Association. So yeah, they have meetings, they have potlucks, and that's pretty much it.